Welcome, dear viewers, on this special program once again brought to you by Amaqhawe Television in collaboration with Amaqhawe Ethu Foundation. We wish to thank you once again, dear viewers, for allowing us into your sitting rooms and extending the gift of time to all of us. These programs are brought to you weekly every Tuesday evening and are repeated every Sunday. The purpose really is to heighten our understanding about the general discourse of our political environment in our country, fulfilling one of the very, very mandates of this particular radio television station, that of education, information, and at times entertaining. We bring to you various guests to engage on various and specific issues and events that are dominating our country's agenda. I'm your host tonight, Lennox Class, and tonight I bring you Untate Omri Mokwala. Yes, a very familiar face in our television screens in his capacity as a political analyst. Today, Untate Omri is bringing to us a topic that is very, very close to his heart, entitled One ANC Member, One Vote. But for the purpose of this broadcast, we will try to be very, very general in terms of our approach. We are not going to talk about any specific political party. Welcome, Tatu Omri, in our program.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Lennox, forgive me for saying that. Thank you very much. I'm really humbled to be given this opportunity to explain this concept of one person, one vote. I wish to say that this concept of one person, one vote was actually started by Nelson Mandela way back. I've got a clip where Nelson Mandela talks about it. I will send it to you after this so you can share with your audience. But it's not new. It's not new. So I want to say that I don't want to claim to be bringing anything new. But the concept of one person, one vote.
Before you answer that question, Ntate Omri, and before we dive into the program, I would like you, I know you attempted to do this, to please share with us similarities or dissimilarities in terms of this one member, one vote versus one man, one vote. Because currently, South Africa is practicing precisely that, one man, one vote. But we are coming with a concept that says one member, one vote. Before we get into the program, please help us to understand the difference between the two concepts.
Yes, let me say that in the 70s, as a member of SAZIM, our leaders in SAZIM used to say, we are fighting for one man, one vote. And then the female leaders in SAZIM, such as Amaqhawe and the other ladies, they then protested that we can't say one man, one vote because they are ladies and they are not men. So they then encouraged that we should say one person, one vote, rather than one man, one vote. So because of the gender sensitivity issues. So we need to be gender sensitive, me and you. So that's why we say one person, one vote nowadays.
Okay. No. Now I get that explanation of being gender sensitive. But I think my question still stands. Our country, as it is right now, practices exactly the same concept. It might not call it one person or one member, one vote. Maybe they are not politically correct. They are calling it one man, one vote. This is what is happening in the country. And then we are introducing a new concept. I want to know, how does it differ in terms of approach, this one member, one vote against the one man, one vote. If there's nothing, it's the same. I'm happy to proceed with the engagement.
Yes, let me explain this. Basically, at the moment in the country, we don't really have one person, one vote of equal value, or one man, one vote of equal value. We don't have that at the moment. The system we have today in the country, we have what I would call animal farm type of scenario, where some citizens have more rights than others. I will explain why I say that. The members of political parties have more rights than ordinary citizens. The members of political parties are the ones who are in parliament, who have the right to elect the president in parliament, who have the right to elect the premiers in provincial parliament assemblies, who have the right to elect their mayors. These are members of the parties. The citizens don't have those rights. And this is why I call it animal farm type of scenario, some having more rights than others. Now, we are saying that we should all have the same rights as citizens, whether you are a party member or a non-party member. We should all have the same rights to directly elect the president of the country, to directly elect the premier in the province, to directly elect the mayor in your town. We should all have the same rights. At the moment, we don't have the same rights. And I wish to emphasize again, the president is elected in parliament by members of parliament. The citizens don't take part in that. The premiers are elected in provincial assemblies by members of National Assembly. The citizens don't have a right on that. And the mayor is also elected in the chamber councils. The citizens don't have a right to do on that. Now, I'm saying that until we have one person, one vote for electing the president, one person, one vote for electing the premiers, one person, one vote for electing the mayor, we don't have the same rights as citizens. We have, animal farm type of scenario. And this is what I'm saying at the moment.
Okay. Tell me, if the current attempt where it is encouraged for individual members of the society to enter into the race as independent candidates, how does that particular situation fall short from what you are describing?
Yeah, at the moment, we do have maybe some independent somewhere with the mayors somewhere, they would say that. But basically, the system I'm talking about is everybody should have the right to be nominated, irrespective of party membership. Anybody should have the right to be nominated to be the president or to be the premier or to be the mayor, irrespective of party membership. Now, at the moment, we don't have that right. Only party members are nominated for this post and in their party structures. When you don't belong to the party structure, then you are just used as a voting fodder during general elections. But you can't vote for the president, you can't vote for the premier, you can't vote for the mayor. And this is where the problem is.
Okay.
We don't have the same rights. That's what I'm saying. We don't have the same rights.
I hear you, Ndate Umre. Before we get into the practicalities of the proposed arrangement, so that we do not leave the viewers behind, please identify few impediments of the current system. You are saying you need to belong to the party, and the party are superior human beings when it comes to elections because they have this political home called a political party. So their rights are above everybody else. Now let's talk about the limitations, or why are you Why do you feel this system is outdated and it has to be changed?
Yeah, first, the political parties.
Yes.
What happens inside the political parties, the citizens don't have control over. What happens inside political parties, the citizens have no control, have no say of what happens. For an example, at the moment, of course, we've got MK political party. The citizens didn't really vote for anybody there except to vote for former President Jacob Zuma. But the citizens did not really vote for people who are in parliament under that party. Now, in terms of the ANC, people vote for the ANC, the emblem, the ANC, the brand. But as to who goes to parliament under ANC, the citizens don't have control. And this is why people who have been implicated in various things continue to be in the list of ANC on a continuous basis from 1994 up to now. Whether you go to the DA, you go to the EFF, all these parties have got people who are compromised inside those parties, but the citizens don't have any way of saying, no, so-and-so was involved in a tender in Tshwane, and we think he should not be a member of parliament, or so-and-so should not be a mayor in Ekurhuleni. The citizens don't have that right under the current system of the party system. And this is why, if we all allow the citizens to directly elect the mayors, the members of parliament, the premiers, then they will be in a position to actually clean the parliament, clean municipal council, even clean the presidency, the citizens. It is the citizens who must take responsibility of the Republic of South Africa, not political parties.
Okay. I'm very sorry for belabeling this issue, Ndati Omri. Ndati Omri, for instance, the Constitution allows for the political parties because our democracy is called constitutional democracy, meaning that there are certain things that are allowed by the law to exist. For instance, there's what is called, again, freedom of association. So if members of the society wish to be political activists, it means they must join political parties. If members of the society, they want to be sports persons, they must join sporting clubs. If they want to be the members of what you call those things that our aunties come together every month. Society. They want to join that. If they want to become active in those activities, they join those things. And all these institutions will have constitutions that govern them. Now, if a member of X political party decides to join this party, they are doing so because of the policies of that party, because of the manifesto of that party, because that party is saying they are going to deliver 1, 2, and 3. Whether they do that or not, it's another question. And once they join that political party, it means they agree. We are going to elect leadership that in many instances, this leadership is going to take decisions on our behalf. Now, I'm trying to establish, if the society decides to do away with political parties and say they want to take charge of this system. In South Africa, we're over 65 million right now. Maybe the voting South Africans, they're about 40 million. How do we manage this system? Let's say we're getting to local government elections now, November. There's no political party. Citizens are going to decide. I'm sure you've given this a great deal of thought because you put together this paper, I think, 5 years ago. How do you propose that we navigate our way around this?
Yes, let me explain. First, I'm not saying political parties should no longer be there. That's not what I'm saying. Political parties will still be there. But what I'm saying all the citizens, whether they belong to political parties or they do not belong to political parties, should have the right to directly elect their president. Okay. Should have the right to directly elect their premiers. Should have the right to directly elect their mayors. All the citizens. Why all the citizens? All the citizens pay tax and pay the salaries of the president, pay the salaries of premiers, pay the salaries of mayors, all the citizens, you know. But when they are supposed to be elected, the citizens are excluded. Only party members are counted. If it was party members only who were paying the salaries of the president, paying salaries of the premier, and the citizens were not paying their salaries, I would listen to you, you know, with interest. But at the moment, the citizens pay the salaries of these individuals, but the citizens are not allowed by law, by the constitution, to directly elect this individual. And this is why one of the proposals we put across to amend the constitution, especially in connection with the rights to elect the leaders. Because in the constitution, the current constitution at the moment, there are limitations that the citizens are not allowed to elect the president. The citizens are not allowed to elect the premiers. The citizens are not allowed to elect the mayors. These people are elected in their forums. President is National Assembly. Premiers is Provincial Assembly. The mayor is the Municipal Council. And the citizens are not there. But the issue is, who pays the salaries of these people? If the salaries of these people were paid by these people who elect them only, it would be okay. But now the citizens have to pay the salaries without having the right to elect them. And that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is, the issue. Yeah.
Basically, Ntate Ombre, could we just for a few minutes talk about how do we manage plus minus 40 million when it comes for them to vote for the president of their choice, premier of their choice, and the mayor of their choice? I know you've been thinking about this. I'm sure you have ready-made answers in this regard. Please help the viewers to navigate this.
Yes, let me explain this. It's actually not going to be as complicated as all that. The only elections that would require many people is the presidential elections, because all citizens from Cape Agalas to Musina Bay Bridge, from Port Nolloth in the west to Durban in the east coast must vote for who they prefer should be their president. You know, that's the only time where you will have maybe 40 million people voting, all the voters, if they were to vote. But from there, in terms of the provinces, as to when Northern Cape is going to have its provincial elections, or Western Cape is going to have its provincial elections, it's a question that can be worked out in terms of timetable. And depending on the population in the for instance, in the Western Cape, depending on how many people are there, whether it's 12 million voters or what, they will vote on that particular day. It doesn't have to be same day for Western Cape, Limpopo, KZN, Eastern Cape. It doesn't have to be the same day. So the provinces will vote on their different days for their provincial premiers and elections, and the mayors also. Whether the mayor of Cape Town will be voted for in a different date as compared to the mayor of, Gqeberha, voted on a different day. So it doesn't have to be the same day. But besides, the only time you will have 40 million is for voting for the president, which is similar to what we have now. When we go to general elections, all citizens are expected to vote. All citizens are expected to vote. But besides that, these other provinces, the towns, it's not big numbers. It's not big numbers. I mean, when you check people in Gqeberha, how many are they? Those who are supposed to vote, you'll find that maybe it's maybe 3 million or so. They go and vote for their mayor, and that's it. And the people in Durban were going to vote for their mayor on a certain date. People in Kimberley go and vote for their mayor on a certain. So it's not going to be on the same day again 40 million all the time. So understand the logistic is not going to be that way.
And that Omri, you are only addressing the actual voters. Remember, we are saying society or the community will bring their recommended persons. Now, imagine 40 million people. How many people that will be advanced as possible, let's say mayors, because we're saying people should vote for the person of their choice. And let's talk about the premier, for instance. In a vast province like Rebecca, you have several corners, towns, villages. Roughly, in your thinking, how many names do you think people would advance, and then to manage those? I'm talking logistics, yes.
Yeah, let me explain. I think you probably maybe didn't understand me very well somehow, but let me explain it. For provincial elections, what we're saying for provincial elections, political parties in the province will nominate their provincial premiers, and citizens, independent candidates, will also be nominated as independent candidates. But the idea is it will not be party appointment. It will be the citizens who vote who they prefer that should be the premier. At the moment, in the Eastern Cape, for an example, the citizens don't really vote for the premier. They vote for the party. And it is the party that wins the election that decides who becomes the premier. And that is the difference. Now, when the citizens directly vote for who their premier should be, the party comes second after that, because the citizens directly elect. They might elect somebody from ANC, but not necessarily the person you, as the ANC, have nominated in the province. So they might elect somebody from another party, the citizens. So, but at the moment, the citizens don't have that right. They vote for the party only, and the party decides for the citizens. And that is where the difference is. Now, when citizens vote for a direct, like in other places, the mayor, let me say, during apartheid, under apartheid, the whites used to directly elect for their mayors. They did not vote for the party, and the party decide who should be them. They used to vote for their mayors, and the mayor could be from federal party, could be from nationalist party, from any other party. But the citizens, the white citizens, used to directly elect their mayors. Now, I'm saying that even today, the parties can nominate their candidates, but the citizens must have the right to directly vote for who they want as a mayor or who they want as a premier. They must not be told by the party.
On that note, in that Omri, let's go and pay the rent. But when we come back, for instance, you introduce another element here of the previous dispensations, which I believe we are going to have to ignore it, because it's very, very simple to engage why that was the case. But we will take that after this. Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome back, dear viewers, in our second and the last segment. Before we went for a break, Ndate Omri introduced the system that was taking place before 1994. And we want to quickly address that, because that system might be misleading. in the following way. The system before 1994, basically it was one specific race group representing specific privileges of a particular race group. Even those particular people did not have to vote for them to be guaranteed this particular protection. So this is different. You have one nation characterized by various race groups with competing interests and priorities. So one thing for sure, I'm happy that Omri, you are saying there's going to be some kind of a hybrid system where political parties will continue to do as they are doing, and members of the society will have an opportunity to elect their people. Now, tell me, how does this address the challenge you have raised initially? Because if we are saying the system is manipulated, how then, when it is hybrid, is not going to be manipulated?
I think we maybe you did not understand me well, or I did not explain well. The current system is not manipulated. It's a system that, according to the current constitution, is such that the citizens are not allowed. It's not manipulated. According to the current constitution, the citizens are not allowed to elect the president, are not allowed to elect the premier, according to the current constitution. And this is why we think it should be amended, this constitution. So it's not manipulation. It's according to the law. So, but what we want now, what we're saying that the citizens must elect the president directly. The president must not be elected in parliament by members of parliament, who themselves are not elected by the citizens. The citizens must elect the president directly. They must not wait for parliament to tell them who should be the president, And this is the fundamental difference.
Okay. No. When I spoke or introduced manipulation, I was referencing your paper. You might not have said it tonight, but in your paper, there's a challenge of manipulation of the current system and the corruption and all that stuff. That's why I was introducing the question. If it's going to be hybrid, how are we going to avoid the manipulation and the corruption?
Let me I think, Commissar, we're mixing two things that are not the same. The paper I presented inside the ANC, it's for ANC membership elections. And it's different from the South African public elections of the president. Now, inside the ANC, we've got branch delegates that go to the conferences and go and elect leaders. And those branch delegates are bribed with money to vote for a particular leader. That is inside the ANC. And this is why the one member, one vote inside the ANC is different to one person, one vote for the entire South Africa. For the entire South Africa, we must make the difference. The other one is party, and the other one is the public.
Deliberately, I did not want to bring the party here, but I thought the basis for rejecting the current system was because of the very loopholes. Remember, each and every political party, have conferences and they elect delegates. And I'm sure these delegates are subjected to the very thing. So even if this deals with the country, you are going to experience the same challenges that you cited in another platform. Now I'm saying, how do you counter those? How do you prevent? But we can drop that. We can drop that. Because I don't think right now I'm convinced in terms of management of electing, let's say, 2 million possible candidates as a mayor across the country. How do we do that?
Yeah, I think you are mixing issues, and maybe the other thing, you did not really understand that paper very well. Yeah, what I'm saying, let me leave the paper, internal ANC paper aside. Let me talk about the country. In terms of the country, one person, one vote. One person, one vote. What the parties in South Africa will nominate their presidential candidates. There will be independent candidates who will be nominated by civic organizations or NGOs. They will nominate their own candidates. And the public, during the general elections of the president, they will go and vote for who they think out of these candidates is the better person for them to run the country. They're not going to wait for parliament, members of parliament first, to go and decide in parliament who should be the president, because the citizens will have directly elected the president during the general elections. And that is the big difference. At the moment, it's not the case. At the moment, it's not the case. At the moment, people vote for the party, and the party, with the ratio that is got of members of parliament ratio in parliament, the party then decides who they deploy as president. The citizens have no control. The citizens have no control over that.
Ndate Omri, I'm sure we understand the processes involved in voting, not only here in South Africa. When we are to embark, one, there has to be a ballot paper. A ballot paper basically will constitute the names of the people that people are expected to come and vote for. You will have a ballot paper generated by political parties, for instance, because they know that who is going to be the president here is Cyril or is Thabo Mbeki or is Zuma or whoever. So the election comes, there's that ballot paper, so that whoever comes to cast their vote on that day, they look for a symbol next to this person and they will vote for that person. Remember Matiba, some people did not even know how to read. They will look for the face of Matiba and they will know this is the ANC. They will put the X there. Now, the management I'm talking about, people will decide elsewhere, let's say in Kofimvaba, we want a premier, I want a premier as an individual. And the premier I want is Omri. At what point is Omri going to feature in that ballot paper?
I think, Commissar, the issue I'm trying to say that there will be nomination processes. The Independent Electoral Commission will be running the elections. And in terms of that, they will write the new procedures of nomination processes, how people get nominated to be premiers, candidate, or how people get nominated to be presidential candidate. That logistics, that workout, that paperwork will be done. At the moment, it is not there because we vote for the party at the moment. We don't vote, as you say, at the moment. We don't vote for the individual per se. We vote for the party. We vote for the party. And this is why the party headquarters decides who goes to parliament and who does not go to parliament. The citizens have no responsibility, but under a different law, the citizens would have directly elected their members of parliament. At Gqeberha East, they would have elected a member of parliament who comes from that area. Gqeberha West would have elected somebody who comes from that area. Not the party telling them ukuthi no lana sizawufaka usibani bani, sizawudeploya usibani bani. So it's a complete different thing that we're talking about. Now, at the moment, it's the party that decides. The citizens have no role except as the voting fodder. That's what I'm saying.
That Omri, for instance, in democracy, you have what is called outsourcing certain responsibilities to the people you have elected or nominated. The same way the citizens who will vote for this particular individual, in the long run, that individual has been given an authority or a responsibility by those people to run the government, the councillor, the country on their behalf. That's why I was saying an argument can be made that when a party is making certain decisions, it is making those decisions on behalf of its members, because the members gave them the mandate to make these decisions, including general members of any organization. Those members are not all of them that decides who is going to be the president. It is through delegates. They outsource that responsibility to people, let's say, from the branch, go and represent us. The minute they do that, it's a declaration of confidence to these people that they will represent us. They go to the conference, they meet other delegates, they convince one another, they vote, and there's an outcome. The point is, those individual people have been given a mandate to take decisions on behalf of the members. But
it's animal farm, Commissioner. That's what I'm saying. It's animal farm. Animal farm. You know, animal farm. Some are more equal than others. Some are more equal than others. Who's this guy who wrote that last century? Animal farm. Some are more equal than others. So what happens is the party delegates are more equal than other ordinary members. So the party delegates elect the president. Ordinary members are just going to vote as voting fodder during the elections. And this is exactly where the problem is. So the corruption is, that's why we capture the party delegates, because the power is with the party delegates. And the ordinary members are just going to be used as voting fodder. And this is why we are saying this system must be changed so that every ANC member has got the same and equal right. Me and you must have the same and equal right to vote for the next ANC president. If you are going to vote because you are a delegate, and I'm not going to vote because I'm outside, I don't have the right you have. And this is where the animal farm comes in. Some are more equal than others. I believe that all ANC members should have equal and same rights. That's what I believe.
Let us not talk about the ANC. Remember, we said we are going to generalize this. We are saying let all the South Africans be equal in electing their premier, in electing but I'm advancing an argument here, and all what you are saying in rebutting that argument is animal farm. I'm saying, even at your workplace, the fact that you do not sit in the management meeting, it does not necessarily mean your role is not recognized. Someone is representing you there in the management meeting. So even the political parties, I want you to convince the viewers, I'm playing devil's advocate here, to throw concepts like animal farm is not assisting the viewers. I'm saying the nature of political parties is by way of delegation. You elect your leaders in any party. It could be PAC, AZAPO, EFF, MK party. You join, they give you constitution, and you say, okay, I'm buying into your vision and mission. Conference every after 5 years. You buy into that. I'm not complaining as a member. Obviously, if I'm not a member, you cannot tell us how to run our organization. So if I've delegated Omri in my organization to represent me, unless we are giving Omri the name and say, Omri for the president here in this branch, we want Lennox, and Omri goes there and do something else. That is the argument then we can deal with. Otherwise, the delegation and outsourcing the responsibility is the function of delegates of any political party.
Yes, can I respond?
Yes.
Yeah, what you are saying, I'm aware of, and it is the cause of our problems we have. And why I was saying that the system of electing members of parliament, it doesn't have to be this way. The system we use in South Africa now, it doesn't have to be this way. And that's why I quoted that the last, during the whites only apartheid, they did not elect members of parliament this way. They elected the members of parliament by constituencies. Where you are, you elect your member of parliament directly, and it's not appointed by the party. If the party can nominate its candidates. That in Gqeberha West, we want so and so as a candidate. Every party can nominate it, but the citizens of that area then go and elect who they think in that area should represent them in parliament. Now, in our case, at the moment, we don't do that. And yeah.
Tate Omri, I want us to address this point to keep on bringing, and I'm sure there's a reason. Let's talk about the Nationalist Party during apartheid.
Yes.
My argument is white people in South Africa did not even have to vote because their interests were secured. Whoever was to govern, they were going to govern for the preservation of the white people in South Africa because of apartheid. So the argument that this is the system that they were using does not hold, because apartheid is apartheid. Whoever, no matter who presided over it, definitely it will be the white person taking care of the privileges of the white people. Whether they did not have to vote, this is my argument. But
let me explain.
Yeah.
I disagree with you on that.
Okay, yeah, talk to me.
First, let me explain. From 1910, the political parties that have been running South Africa up to 1994 has been changing. It was not one party throughout. And it was not one party throughout because the whites only voted for different members of parliament, and including removing General Smarts as a member of parliament, from Standard 2. They removed him through elections. So what I'm saying to you is, for whites only, the whites used to have the right to directly elect their members of parliament. Now, in 94, when we were supposed to have the same rights the whites had under apartheid, the ANC and the Nationalist Party decided not to have those rights anymore, to remove those rights of citizens directly electing their members of parliament. Before that, citizens were electing directly their when Dr. W.B. Khubusana was elected in Eastern Cape, East Pondoland, he was elected way back as a member of parliament, although of course it was under what they called a qualified franchise, but he represented his area. And now when the ANC took over in 94, it scrapped that type of elections. And that's why we have this party, a monster now at the moment. We have the party headquarters running everything. So the public is actually dependent on what happened inside the political parties. The citizens don't have any right, because they depend on what the party gives them. And that's why we have this problem. We don't have to have a lot of crooks in parliament. We don't have to have them. we can clean them. And whether from any part, we don't have to have them. It's the law that allows us to have this. Mazanga Commission and all those, they demonstrate that this law that we're using has not been good for us. That's what I would say.
You see, Ndate Omri, you are coming to the point that I thought you should have raised from the beginning of time. That the problem is the amount of crooks, perceived or real, in Parliament or elsewhere. Now, you are attributing this to this kind of system. We are saying this system produces crooks. Now, remember, this system is voted for by the people. Now we are saying we are going to get the people to vote, but as long as they are going to decide, how are you going to prevent what seems to be a problem from your previous point? Quote unquote crooks. So how do you prevent that in this newly proposed system? Because as long as human beings are involved, as long as people are involved to say, I need Omri to be my president, once Omri tomorrow is confronted with possibilities of being a millionaire instantly, what is going to stop Omri from doing that? Is it simply because Omri was elected by ordinary people, not by the party? This is what I want us to talk about.
Yeah, let me explain this. The main issue is to allow the citizens to have the right to withdraw people, to elect and remove people who they do not think are doing fine. The citizens must have that right. At the moment, the citizens don't have that right. At the moment, the citizens don't.
You're saying whether the person the citizens are going to elect is going to turn up to be a crook, as long as that person was elected by the citizen.
Yes, what I'm saying is if he was elected or she was elected directly by the citizens, and he turns out to be a crook because he's tempted, he's a member of parliament or he's a minister, he gets tempted, the next elections, the citizens will remove that person because they will see that this person is now, is going off the mark. But under the current law, the citizens are helpless because it's the party headquarters that decide. If we still keep you there, we redeploy you somewhere, and the citizens are helpless. But under a different electoral law, the citizens will have the right to remove people they don't think are suitable.
Why don't we address that, Ndate Omri? Why don't we say, once someone has been proven to be corrupt, let's come with a piece of legislation that will empower the party, including the citizens, to withdraw that person. Why throw the baby with the bathwater when you can change certain things about what is seemingly the crisis?
Let me explain. Under the current law, in terms of our constitution in the ANC, all those things are there.
Let us not talk about the ANC. Let us not talk about the...
Now, if we talk about the country, let's say the National Assembly. The National Assembly. Now, the National Assembly is affected by party systems. Because of the party system, though, the party that has got more seats in parliament, pushes its own way. Even if what they are pushing is not correct, they push it its own way. And this is why during the previous time of Nkandla, the swimming pools and all that, the members of parliament supported the swimming pool story and all that. And the public, there was nothing they could do. Whether it's a VBS and all that, the public, there was nothing they could do. But the party headquarters and the members of parliament.
And that, Omri, I'm very, very sorry. The microphone is so sweet. And when the engagement is so wonderful, like it is right now, time flies. Allow me to give you an opportunity to leave our viewers with your parting note. What is it that you would like to say before you bid a very good night to your viewers?
Thank you. Thank you. My wish is that I wish that all South African citizens must have the same rights to vote for their next president, the same right to vote for their premiers, the same right to vote for their mayors, the same right to vote for their members of parliament. That is my wish for all South Africans. And thank you very much.
I thank you very much, Ndate Omri. Talking about elections, basically political elections are a process that political parties uses to gain state power. This very state power enables the governing parties to implement their manifestos. Now, allow me to just provide an overview of a manifesto that can never be beaten by any manifesto. One line, better life for all. This happens to be our country's cultural goal. Each and every member of the society in South Africa, they would want to aspire a better life for themselves and their families. Now, if a political party, for whatever reasons, they are given an opportunity to govern this country, and they fail this particular fundamental aspirations of the people of South Africa, that particular political party has no reason to be called a political party. On that note, we've come to the end of our program. Let's meet again next week. As we say good night to Tate Omri. Tate Omri say good night to the lovely people of Mpumakapa TV.
Good night to the everybody in Mpumalanga Kapa TV. So.
Okay, on that note, we've come to the end of our program. Like we've said,
thank you very much.
A very exciting program next week that talks about mass economic opportunities in our country. For now, it's good night.